everyone, and welcome to my whispered ramble video. I'm trying to get used to not having to be right in the microphone, but I want to make sure that there is good quality, okay? So I am going to ramble you to sleep about something that interests me. It's esoteric, and I will go on my phone and I will Google things for you so that I can get exact definitions. Now, if this isn't something you're interested in, I have a variety of different videos that I do. I get a lot of requests for Reddit scary stories in general, reading scary books, reading books, sleep study for students. I just did my second one, and I hope that the girl who requested the first one likes the second one also. I tried harder on this one. So anyways, I consider myself into the esoteric, and I brought up this is a ramble. I just want to make this really clear. This is a ramble you to sleep. I'll try to make some relaxing noises, but I want to make sure that anyone who's interested in the same thing, that they can hear me. Okay? So, as you all know, I am a level 2 Reiki practitioner. 6 more months and I'll be a Reiki practitioner. I never get it right. Reiki master practitioner, which means that I can start teaching people Reiki. Reiki is being used in hospitals now. I'm actually gonna read to you about that, and I'm going to, even though I have already done it, I'm gonna explain what Reiki is again, okay? Just because I want to make sure that if you haven't watched other videos that you know. So let me see here. I sent my trusty sister, because she didn't know what it was, but she actually is open-minded to it, which is cool because my sister is she wasn't like that, so makes me happy. Okay, no, that's not it. Okay, so where'd you go? There we go. Okay, so why are more hospitals using Reiki? It improves emotional state, which promotes health and healing, improves mood and outlook, fosters a calm mind, and relaxed body, which can lower blood pressure and enhance immune system. Pain management. It relieves nausea, improves sleep, and it gives a feeling of more energy and better quality of life. So what do I do? You may be asking yourself. They're using Reiki in hospitals, so that means that more people like me are going to hospitals to help people. A lot of it is meditation, but if you've heard of this scientist who I'm a huge fan of, Deepak Chopra. He does a very good job of explaining how it is scientifically possible, or it is very, very scientifically plausible. It's energy. Basically, we work with energy. So let's look up the definition of Reiki. What is Reiki? this one. 10 important facts about Reiki. Reiki is a type of alternative healing therapy. It was developed by Mikao Yusi, a Japanese Buddhist, in 1922. However, it says Buddhist, but he was a Christian and was asked a question that he could not answer, so he sought answers from all different places. Kind of like how, if you've ever heard of the story of Buddha, I could read that sometime. He wasn't satisfied and he wanted to help people. It doesn't mean that Christianity doesn't help people. It's just that he wanted an answer. So, okay, so the word can be broken down into two meanings. Ray means God's wisdom or higher power. Ki is the life force energy when combined. Reiki is the spiritually guided life force. So let's read that again, okay? Ray means God's wisdom or higher power, and Ki is the force, the life force energy. Life force energy. Life force energy. Alright. When combined, Reiki is spiritually guided life force energy. Okay? And energy is everywhere. Okay? So obviously we can't deny the existence of energy and the roles that it plays on us personally. And I don't know if that's all this has on Reiki. That's kind of lame. Okay. Let's see here. Let's see. Nope, we're not gonna do that. Reiki healing techniques. Okay. No. Don't you just hate it when you go on a website and you want just some explanations and then they're trying to sell you all this stuff? Nope. I don't want to start a free trial. I am one. But, energy. Anyways. So, without having to look it up any further, since, let's see. Okay, here's a good one. This is off of, I think this is Wikipedia. Okay. Reiki is a Japanese form of alternative medicine called energy healing. Reiki practitioners use a technique called palm healing or hands-on healing through which a universal energy, which we all have, is said to be transferred through the palms of the practitioner to the patient in order to encourage emotional and physical healing. So basically, we get trained to use this energy. And this energy, this is not new. It is not a new concept. It is just that in Japan, Mikao Yusi, Master Yusi, he actually just in Japanese at least, he how would you say, put it together in a new way. But in other cultures such as Chinese, Hinduism, Hawaiian, and more, you can look it up if you like, or I could do another video if you request. In Chinese, it's called Qi, and you may have heard of Tai Chi or Qigong or things like that. Qi is the life force energy. That is the Chinese term for it. Okay, and it's mentioned a lot in martial arts. And some of you may know that I actually was an athlete when I was younger, and I did martial arts, and I remember hearing a lot about the chi and the solar plexus and all that. So if you've done martial arts, basically chi is the same thing as Reiki, only it's we use it in different ways. Like, we are trying to use it to heal people through a meditative state, which can really release those good endorphins when you're in a meditative state. Think about that too. So then in Hinduism it's called prana, and let's look up what prana is. Prana. And I also want to mention I'm a huge fan of Sadhguru. He's a yogi. He is so awesome. He talks about a lot of stuff. Whenever I'm feeling down or I need some inspiration, I listen to his videos. Some of them are a bit long, but he doesn't tell you what you want to hear. He's a nice guy, but he's not like, you ask him a question and you expect this really nice answer. No, he gives you the truth. And he's always laughing and not at you, but he's got so much joy inside of him that he laughs. So, what is prana? Because he's a yogi, so that means he's Hindu. And FYI, for any Christians out there, they do not deny the existence of Jesus. They believe that he was, someone with great wisdom, and, we believe that he is God, and he is. But they do not deny his existence in Hinduism or in Buddhism. Okay, so in yoga, Indian medicine, and in Indian martial arts, prana permeates reality on all levels, including inanimate objects. In Hindu literature, prana is sometimes described as originating from the sun and connecting the elements. 5 types of prana, collectively known as the 5 Vayas, and described in Hindu text. What does prana mean? A life breath or vital principle. Hindu religion, it's glorious to be in this newbie microfarm with everything so green and lush. Okay, bursting with prana. So, let's see. Is prana an energy? This one should help understand a lot better. I'm sorry, I am trying to find the best definitions, and I hope I'm not confusing anyone. Prana is an energy that pulses through the body along a network of subtle body channels, similar to the central nervous system. The channels of the subtle body, or nadis, connect from and mind and act as a conduit for energy prana. What is the source of prana? Okay, it's the vital breath. We breathe. But it's energy. So we got chi is the life force, prana is the breath, the life force, energy that connects everything. And then we got mana, which is Hawaiian, and there's also in Native American, Aboriginal, but for the sake of this, I'm just gonna do one more. What is mana? In Hawaiian. Okay, divination and pollination peoples. A supernatural force or power that may be ascribed to persons, spirits, or inanimate objects. Mana, they may be good or evil, beneficial or dangerous. The term was first in the 19th century in the West during debates concerning the origin of religion. Example of mana. I don't know, that don't. Okay, let's see what else. Okay, so what is mana in American English? Anthropology, a generalized supernatural force or power which may be concentrated in objects or persons. So, palms. Now, Master UC, he went and he did a meditation, or he went on a trip on a mountain, and he seen, after 28 days, he seen a flash of light and symbols. He thought at the 28 days before he seen this, he thought, nothing is gonna happen, this was useless, I'm so hungry. But then he seen the flash of light, he seen the symbols, and he had 3 miracles happen. The first was he had his foot hurt. He put his palm on his foot and it didn't hurt anymore. The second one was he went down the mountain and to a village and ate, and he ordered a lot of food. The waitress said, "You need to be careful. If you haven't eaten in 28 days, this could really hurt you or kill you." He ate it and nothing happened. He was perfectly fine. The third thing was, after seeing what he had done, the waitress had a horrible toothache and had no insurance and had no way to stop the pain, and she was living in pain every day. For anyone who's had toothaches, I've heard they're pretty bad. I have never had one, or any cavities, but yeah, I heard they're bad. So then he put his hand by her tooth and her pain was gone and stayed gone. So those were the 3 miracles. So it's almost as if these concepts of this energy, it is in different languages. It is the same thing, and just Googling it doesn't do it much justice, but Master Yusi put it together in a different way where it can be used for good, and the symbols, when you become a level 2 and a Reiki master practitioner, the symbols help to cultivate the energy and use it in a specific area, or kind of guide it in which way to go, because energy, it just flows wherever it needs to go. It doesn't mean that the person who is a Reiki practitioner has some kind of magical power. No, we're complete conduits, meaning we're empty so that the Reiki can fill us, and as we do it, we kind of feel where to go, and in a meditative state along with that, whether you believe in the Reiki energy or not, the meditative state of it all and the relaxation and the calmness and demeanor of the Reiki practitioner can all play a role if you think of that just by itself. Because meditation releases, like I said, good hormones and things like that. So now we're going to get into, did I already do esoteric? I don't remember. Let's see here. Let's see. What is esoteric? a spiritual community in a more philosophical sense. It is used to describe a practice or a person who seemingly has a deep knowledge of the universe and the lessons within it, and actively works to connect with those things. So, basically, that's anyone who is like me. I don't believe in ghosts, but that's considered esoteric, I believe. I believe that it is energy that, I believe it's energy. And like I've said before, I don't let things scare me because fear is power, and I don't like giving things power. I don't like giving things power. So then, there's also, if you believe in aliens, which I'm not like, oh my gosh, aliens. No, it's deeper than that. It's way deeper. I do believe that there is a lot that we don't know, especially since there are, and I read my book on it. If you look back, way back to my first videos, I read about giants found in America and giants found around the world, I believe. And these giants were 13 feet tall to 18 feet tall. Some were smaller, some were bigger. And there's they're like newspaper articles from the 1800s and things like that. So I suggest, if this is any interest to you, go back and listen to my videos where I read about the giants. Now, giants were mentioned in the Bible. Giants have been mentioned in all kinds of Norse mythology, Greek, Roman, Native American, believe it or not. All kinds of mythologies. And not only that, now their bones are found. So they're also finding that there are different species of humans, and they found that there's more than just two. Last time I checked, it was like 7. So I question everything, and that's what I am, and that's who I am. I've read Agartha. Well, I haven't read Agartha yet. It's a book that gives insight to, things that, like, the concepts of, it's also like Chronos or Chrono or something like that. Not the god, but there's these beings that channel through people, and they give advice so that people can help survive. I believe in the Atlanteans, and I also believe in the Lemurians. And if you don't know who the Lemurians are, they were around the same time as the Atlanteans. And from what I understand, the Atlanteans were doing all kinds of things they shouldn't have been, such as making hybrid humans and animals, and messing around with things they shouldn't have been messing around with. And during that time, the Lemurians were hiding information inside of the Earth to protect it for the future of the Earth. And they believed there was a golden age, and that was about 1,000 years. And that, I don't believe that we are destroying the Earth, because I believe the Earth is Gaia. And that is a term that is used by a lot of Wiccan people. I hope I didn't say that offensively. I don't consider myself a witch. I just really believe in things that people don't typically think about. So, but I have no problem with anyone. So, I hope I didn't say that wrong. But, then there is the, what was I saying? Okay, so Gaia. Gaia is the earth, and you can hear about Gaia in Norse mythology. If you listen to Norse mythology, she was very upset because some of her children were giants and they were killed. believe. So, but Gaia is the earth, you know. That doesn't mean I don't believe in God and Jesus. I just do believe that the earth is alive, obviously. And, I do think we are doing things to hurt the earth, but the earth is gonna do what the earth is gonna do. That means another ice age, if it means volcanoes erupting, tornadoes, hurricanes, bad snowstorms, bad storms, floods, tsunamis. I'll call her she. The earth is going to do what the earth is going to do, okay? Because the earth has been doing this for a long, long time. And other creatures during different times have been destroyed, such as the dinosaurs, such as ancient giant skeletons that we're finding. And even smaller people who were like pygmies, I believe. I don't remember the exact word, I apologize. Also, there is a theory, and you're gonna think I'm absolutely nuts unless if you actually study it. It's called The Hollow Earth, and I read a book called The Smoky God. The Smoky God, and that is at the beginning of my videos also. It is 2 videos long, and it is one of the most interesting books I've ever read, because a Norse man went with his father as a boy, and they decided to go further than they had before because they got lucky the year before and got a lot of fish or something like that. And they ended up going too far, and everything changed from the water being cold and salty to being clear and drinkable, and there were these beings that came, and it's debatable whether it's fiction or not, but if you think about it, there is the theory of a hollow earth, and I don't think the earth is hollow per se, because I don't want y'all thinking I'm nuts. I think that there's a lot of caverns and caves, and that's been proven that people or whoever could live in. And the Hopi Indians talk about the Kachinas that go into the earth and live on the same dimension, or they live on a different dimension, so they're here while simultaneously, and they go into the earth, but we can't see them because they're on another dimension. And speaking of dimensions, I told you this would be quite the ramble, so anyone who's not into this, please, please, please just change it. I would like to eventually have a live feed with anyone else who is interested in anything like this, so please comment, subscribe, comment and like this if you have any interest in a live stream, okay? I'll put it in the description. So, there's all these caverns and caves and things that, we obviously don't even know all of the ocean, and we live in our minds. I believe our minds are 2-dimensional. How can a 2-dimensional mind possibly grasp the fact that the world is not what our mind looks like, makes it look like? 2-dimensional. It's more like 4-dimensional, or 3 or 4-dimensional. And there are a lot of things that we don't necessarily understand, and we try to explain it through science. However, science is a newer concept if you look at the whole history of the world and people. So we are, things we thought were impossible when it comes to the esoteric. Synchronicity, which I'm going to look up right now. So that you can understand it, because it's very interesting. Oops. So, one of the definitions I got that I don't think I liked as much is the simultaneous occurrence of events which appear significantly related but have no discernible causal connection. Such synchronicity is quite staggering. Synchronicity is a phenomenon in which people interpret two separate and seemingly unrelated experiences as being meaningfully intertwined, even though there is no evidence that one led to the other or that two events are linked in any other casual way. That would be more of a scientific view of it. However, I do believe in synchronicity, and I can give you some really good examples. Really good. Spiritually, let's look at this. What does synchronicity mean spiritually? Okay. Synchronicities are incidents of spiritual significance that ask us to momentarily dampen our self-obsession and consider the possibility of the divine. Synchronistic experiences leave us with a curious sense that we should pay attention. So, we joke things up to be just a coincidence. It's like meaningful coincidence, as they like to put it here. Okay, what is an example of synchronicity? And then maybe I'll give you some of mine, okay? Synchronicity may be as simple as seeing a word repeatedly and looking for meaning in that experience. A more complex example, imagine that someone has a dream about an old friend shortly after he runs into her. Okay. Okay, the law of synchronicity operates from the belief that our souls attract people, places, and events into our lives that help us to grow, develop, make meaning, and evolve in consciousness. Let's repeat that. The law of synchronicity operates from the belief that our souls attract people, places, and events into our lives that help us to grow, develop, make meaning, and evolve in consciousness. Our feminine consciousness exerts its power through attraction rather than activity. The last part, I don't really know. Okay, so here's one. I've seen 1111 a lot. In numerology, some New Age believers often link 1111 to chance or coincidence. It is an example of synchronicity. I still see it a lot, and I see other ones too. For instance, those who are seeing 1111 on a clock often claim it is an auspicious sign or signaling a spirit presence. Let's see what this one says. Okay, this one's a lot better. It goes along with what I believe. So it's not necessarily better, it's just spiritual growth. Okay. So, synchronicity. Let me give you an example of synchronicities that have happened in my life. Okay. So, oh gosh, it's crazy, okay? It's crazy. I gotta take a break and get a drink of water, but you won't even notice. Okay, so my synchronicities. I was working at a bakery. Before that, I worked at a different bakery. I was a baker, and then I was a cake decorator at the second place. I was very, very, very poor throughout my college years. I lived in my car a few times and had some bad relationships. However, it no longer serves me, so I release it and it doesn't bother me. Okay? So, a synchronicity. I was working at that bakery and a friend of mine asked me, when are you ever gonna go out and see the world? You've been stuck in this city for so long, and you know, you gotta get out and you gotta live life. And I said, how? I don't even make enough to barely put gas in my car, and I'm eating eggs, bananas, and rice. But anyways, because I have my own apartment, car, and phone, and insurance, and everything. So, one day I start talking, I've been talking to, got to know my boss, who I had been my supervisor, who I had been working with for a couple of years. She was always trying to set everyone up with her son. And I am not bad-mouthing any of these people, okay? They're the past, but they played a role in my life. And there was a purpose. It didn't work out, but that doesn't mean that there should be any bad blood or anything like that, So, finally, after a year or two of being in crappy relationships and working there, and being tired of making such little money and having no money at the end of the day, and, having to go to people's houses to eat, and blah, blah, blah. That good old stuff that a lot of us go through. I decided to talk to him. He wasn't my typical type, but he was alright. He was a nice guy. Just not my type, typically. And he was a truck driver, like the big CDL, Class A, big trucks. And when I started talking to him, he was always gone. He had a route back then. He would go to California, go through all these really beautiful states like New Mexico, Arizona, Texas, the deserts of California, and Utah, all kinds of beautiful places. I have pictures of it, actually. One of these days I can make a video about it, and maybe I can make the story. I know I've talked about this before, but this is an example of synchronicity, okay? So then I am over the road with him, and I get to go to California. I'm home for like a day or two, and then I go out and I'm in California, and it's almost like we're living out of a RV home, except without a bathroom. But the place that we were picking up at, that was putting, filling our trailer, they had a bathroom, a shower, and a washer and dryer, and a bathroom for at night. So it was pretty comfortable. nature sanctuary where you have to watch out for rattlesnakes, which another example of synchronicity. But anyways, so I would go and I would do my workouts because that was a big thing for me. And in the truck, I was like, oh my gosh, how am I gonna do this? So I'd go do my workouts either up there behind the buildings, or I would go down on the nature sanctuary and walk the path. And it was a lot of fun. But towards 2 years, we had a lot of problems with where he lived. We're 2 years age apart, and we were thinking of the future, getting married and having kids, but it wasn't working out because we had issues in my family and issues in his, and it was affecting me really bad, and he was just so laid back and he couldn't handle it. Well, he could handle it, but it just didn't seem fair to him that I was losing my mind and he was just trying to be happy. So I broke up with him, and when I was single, I talked to different guys. But I started working for a company that is a carrier and delivers packages to your door. However, I did not do that. I delivered from terminal to terminal with because I'm Class A, so with a truck, a semi-truck. And that's how I met my husband. Now, this lady that hired me had been begging me to work for her, and I wasn't sure, and I was scared to be in the truck alone, and it was third shift. And before I started working there, I was like, I turned her down the first time. She was very, very persistent. And I had this dream that there was a storm coming, and it just changed everything. And I was about to drive right into it. And usually those dreams for me mean big change, like end of relationship or end of something, end of, something. So, I didn't want to let go of this boyfriend, even though we did. And when we did, I went and I applied. I told the lady, okay, I'll work for you. I'll work for you. And I was terrified. And so when I got to the terminal, it was 4 hours there and 4 hours back. And then I had to drive like 45 minutes or half an hour to get home, depending on traffic. But I met this man, a very tall man, which is my husband. And I was having trouble with my, we call them glad hands. They connected the truck and trailer. So he came over, and all the other guys were trying to impress me and fix it, but they couldn't, and he did. So then me and him started talking, and we kept each other awake at night, and eventually I got to a point where I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot live in where I was living anymore, because my dad was moving, and I moved in with him to help with family issues, and because there was no point paying for an apartment, I was only at one day, like every 2 weeks. So, I decided I had to make a decision, and I was going to make that decision. I didn't think it out very well. Me and him, neither of us did, but we jumped. And I moved to the North Woods. I always wanted to live in the woods, but it did take a toll on me, especially the cold, and it did take adjusting because everything's so far away, whereas the city, it's not. As much as I love the woods, it was message I'm trying to tell you is that I had a lady who's seen my resume on Indeed. She was a contractor for a major carrier, and she was persistent. She came out of nowhere, and it was around the same time that it was like me and my ex-boyfriend had to just end it. Things were just not adding up. Nothing was going right at all. So when I ended it and I went with her, I met my husband and I moved to the woods where I've always wanted to live. Now, I've always wanted to live in the woods, even though, like I said, it's an adjustment. But the thing about this is that I didn't know how I was going to get here. I had no idea. I could sit there and plan all day long, and I had no clue with what I was dealing with, how much money, how poor I was. How am I going to, move up north to the woods? How am I ever going to, get my dream house? How am I ever going to do any of this? Find, the guy of my dreams, whatever. Have a family. So, this is how it happened. I truck drove. Someone asked me, when are you gonna see the world? Or the country. I got paid to see all of America. There are very few states that I have not seen, and I got paid to do it. Was it scary? Yes, it was very scary. You can actually check out my trucking channel. It's it was doing good for a while, but I kind of gave up on it. But you can check it out if you're interested in more. So basically, truck driving was the first synchronicity. How am I gonna make more money? How am I gonna get out and see the world? Well, I met someone who was in my life for the time that they were supposed to be. That's where they were meant to be in my life. And I seen the whole country, and I got paid for it. And now I can make more money. I don't have to be, there's always a lot of jobs, things like that in truck driving. And once you know how to do it, it gets boring sometimes, but it's not that bad. So then, I always wanted to move to the woods. I ended up having a local job once I broke up with my ex, and that local job led me to be introduced to my husband, who happened to live in the woods, literally the boondocks. And that's a second synchronicity right there. A third synchronicity is his house needed work. And I prayed, because I do believe in Jesus. I do believe in God. I prayed and I found a church to go to. And at that church, I met some people. But I joined this mommy and me group after I had my daughter to make friends up here. Because before, I was always gone over the road team driving with my husband. And now I was stuck at home with a baby and no friends. In the winter, in 20 below weather. So, I joined this mommy and me group on Facebook, and they were always waking up super early, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't do this, So, I asked in the group, is there anybody that would like to meet up later and, we can hang out? And my friend now replied, I would love to, if you wouldn't mind coming over to my house. And she has a son that's a month older than my daughter. So I go over there, and me and my husband needed a lot of drywall, and we needed mudding, taping, drywall, painting, because my husband owns a drywall company. There's your third synchronicity. Do I consider that a coincidence? No, I don't, because I had been praying and thinking and picturing it in my mind that these things were gonna happen, that things were gonna get fixed, that somehow, but I didn't know how. I knew it. I told myself, I don't know how it's gonna happen, but it's gonna darn well happen. And they were really nice people, my friends, and he came over here and he did a one room completely free. He finished mudding it, taping it, texturizing, painting it and texturizing it, and that's a lot of work. And usually it costs a lot of money to get stuff like this done, and you can't trust just anybody you hire. So my husband went and helped him with some stuff, but he did this for free. So I don't consider that a coincidence that I made friends with her, and her husband owned a drywall company, which is one of the biggest things we needed to fix our house. I consider that synchronicity. We were meant to meet for purposes, not just, to help each other with our houses, but because A, I needed a friend, B, she needed a friend, and C, we had services for that to help each other. And I just don't see how that could not be synchronicity. It's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence. I'm sorry, but it's not. In my heart, I know. So there you go. There are some examples of synchronicity. Ever have something like that happen to you? If so, I'd like to hear about it in the comments. I would like to hear anything from you guys in the comments. And please, 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 I'm about to end this. Please let me know if you're interested in this kind of stuff, and if you are, do you want to have a live stream where we talk to each other about it? We ask questions and talk, and we just have fun. I mean, I'm going on 100 subscribers now. That's, awesome. So, welcome all new subscribers. And